From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Grant.
And I'm Jordan Orkis. Thank you for joining us. On April 15th, onlookers watched in horror as the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in France went up in flames, leaving millions of people shocked and saddened by the tragedy. Since then, many have pledged to help this historic landmark rebuild. But will it ever be the same? Alexa Binkowitz has more on this story.
In Paris at this hour, the historic Notre Dame Cathedral is burning. The spire has collapsed.
As vicious flames engulfed the 850-year-old masterpiece of Gothic architecture, France's president said a part of us is burning.
On Monday, April 15th, the world watched in horror as the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in France went up in flames. The structure, which survived 2 world wars and an abundance of French conflicts, may have finally met its match. The cathedral is one of the most famous landmarks in the world, best known for its beautiful architecture, rich history, and the inspiration for Victor Hugo's Gothic novel, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was later made into a Disney animated feature film. The world held its breath until the moment when the cathedral's spire toppled over, taking with it over 150 years of history and approximately 250 tons of weight into the cathedral halls below.
It survived the furies of the French Revolution. It was in the sorry state at one point, and as we now know, thanks to the enormous success of Victor Hugo's novel, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the French began the process of reclaiming it. Now it is the grandest of the churches. And it has a special significance because of where it's located. There are other great cathedrals in France. Reims, where the kings are crowned, actually, not in Notre Dame, Notre Dame Chartres, which is probably the most famous. But Notre Dame de Paris captures something of the soul and the heart of the French people.
Over 400 firefighters responded to the blaze, eventually extinguishing the flames over the course of the next several hours. While officials say the overall structure of the cathedral is still sound, there is extensive damage to the roof and interior sections of the building. It is reported the blaze may have started accidentally.
People were hugely affected by this, not necessarily because they were people of faith, but because they were French or because they were visitors who had come to Paris. And Paris Paris in particular, is the high point of tourism in Europe. More people go to France and more people go to Paris than any other city, including London and including Rome. So there is a point of connection with the cathedral that goes back to the larger Parisian reality.
Sacred Heart students were among those who expressed their sadness about the cathedral, many having visited the cathedral before or having family members of French descent.
When I first heard about the cathedral, I was nowhere near any social media. When I heard about it, I got a text from my mom and I read it and she was just look on the news. And then seconds later she calls me and she's just sobbing on the phone. And she's just Notre Dame is on fire. And my first, it kind of was just a punch in the throat almost because again, my mom was born in France. She's from the south of France. And, I grew up in a French home. I speak fluent French. And I had been to the cathedral when I was a senior in high school. And, when you see it in person, it's one of the most magical historical churches anywhere in Europe. I remember being there and, there's something just so peaceful when you're on the grounds of Notre Dame. Everything's just so quiet. Everything's just so peaceful. It was really hard to see the tower fall down on the news. And, I got very, very emotional because it affects me. It affects who I am as a person. And I know it really hurt my mom too, more than me.
When something touches our imagination and our soul, like a great monument like Notre Dame de Paris, or if it was the Basilica in St. Peter's, or some similar church structure, then we would be touched to some degree in a personal way, because it's part of the ethos of the institution. right? Now, it may be remote. Many of our students have not been to France. Many of them may never go to France. Many of our students are not Catholic. Many are Catholics who no longer practice. So there's the whole array, again, just like in French society, we would be a microcosm of that. But there would be a sense that in our studies, in our work, in our understanding something about the spirituality that infuses the institution, that Notre Dame is part of that experience, is part of that history, and therefore in some important ways a part of us.
Many have stepped forward and offered donations towards the renovation, including some French billionaires who pledged over 100 million euros, and even Disney, who pledged $5 million. French President Emmanuel Macron believes that the renovation can be completed in just 5 years.
And there'll be others who will say, well, what's Paris going to be without Notre Dame? I mean, it's great, and they'll be mercenary. It's a great draw. Millions of people come to this. We make money out of this. What's going to happen now? There's a bunch of ruins and rubble here. So there'll be mercenary concerns too, right? Economic concerns, like what are you going to do when you lose your top site in the Paris tour circuit, right? And there'll be others who will be concerned about it for historical and political reasons. So there's cultural, historical, economical, religious, social. Again, a complex array, a whole canvas of emotions and reasons that speaks to the centrality of Our Lady in the life of Paris.
Despite the tragedy, the French are resilient, as are the people who believe in the power of humanity and the perseverance of those who care about the future of the cathedral.
But nothing equals Notre Dame. Everything is eclipsed by it. Everything is overshadowed by its beauty, by its majesty, by its position on the Seine. So Paris is, in a sense, Notre Dame.
In Fairfield, Connecticut, this has been Alexa Benkowitz for The Pulse.
Most students have to work incredibly hard to get into the best universities in the country. But some parents thought they could beat the system by writing a check. Here's Diana Lento with more on the recent college admissions scandal.
The Hollywood stars are now the faces of what federal prosecutors say was a $25 million scheme to secure highly coveted admission slots at elite universities.
Recently, there have been many celebrities and wealthy families caught bribing colleges into accepting their children.
But the scene outside Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman's initial court appearances was no red carpet event.
Actress Felicity Huffman paid $15,000 for her daughter's answers to be corrected on the SATs. A small amount compared to actress Lori Loughlin. Her and her husband paid $500,000 to a fake charity falsely designating her daughters as crew recruits at USC. They are pleading not guilty.
A lot of, I don't want to say they're entitled to it, but people do have money and they kind of just let their parents decide where they want to go to school. And I think that's kind of sad that they don't have a say in where they want to go to school and like, this is where you're going to go. I don't think that's fair. But
many are furious over the scandal, since many students have worked tirelessly to be able to achieve higher education.
For myself, I have a bunch of different jobs and I work really hard for what I have and where I want to go with my life. And like that's trying to push myself to be the best I can be. And I think these people worked really hard for themselves and that's how they have their money, but they need to translate that back to their kids. Like their kids have to work just as hard as they did to be able to provide for themselves and get what they want.
High school students are typically involved in many activities on top of having a good GPA to market themselves as a candidate for college.
For us personally, we look at kind of like the activities that students are doing in high school, wanting them to be involved in high school and then kind of continuing it at Sacred Heart. So it's kind of like an overall well-rounded student. Obviously, yeah, like good grades are awesome and like we want you to get good grades in college too, but kind of expand your horizons and do things outside of the classroom. And that's like kind of what Sacred Heart has to offer and just like broaden your horizons and do things.
With College Decision Day quickly approaching, has this scandal sent the wrong message about school choice?
I think a lot of people are rallying behind this being wrong, and it's really showing that so many people are doing it the right way.
It's all what you make of your college experience, and that I think doesn't really matter where you go at the end of the day. In 10 years, no one's really gonna care kind of where you went to school and like where you graduated, as long as like what you did made you happy and you liked your college experience, and then kind of where you went from there and like how you did your life. I think that's all that's really important about it. At the end of the day, I mean, if you went to an Ivy League school, that's great. But if you didn't and you still got an education and you loved it, I think that's great too.
Lori, pay for my tuition, Lori! Reporting from Fairfield, Connecticut, this is Diana Lento for The Pulse.
When we come back, we have more on education in our community, focusing on one Connecticut high school teacher who is pushing the boundaries of foreign language classes.
And a look at a college prep program that is helping some hardworking inner city kids navigate their way towards higher education.
Welcome back to The Pulse. For many inner city kids, college is often something that is put on the back burner. However, one local college prep program is pushing higher education to the forefront, allowing students to put their best foot forward. Danielle Wedderburn has more on the story.
The Village Initiative Project, commonly known as VIP, is a college prep program situated in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The program director, Teresa Wilson, was formerly involved in other college prep programs before she sought to create her own. Fortunately for her, she has found much success guiding inner-city students towards higher education. Weekly meetings are held at the Margaret E. Morton Government Center, located in downtown Bridgeport. It is here where high schoolers learn important skills from Teresa and other mentors that'll benefit them not only throughout college, but throughout the rest of their lives.
So you also have to be in tune with your influence. Understand that you have influence over your friends. You can help them make decisions that are better for them.
Because VIP covers more than just things related to college, the program sets itself aside from other college prep programs found in Bridgeport. But then I wondered, where did the name Village Initiative Project come from?
So when you talk about the village and the Yoruba proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, it was really divinely inspired, okay? That whole name, Village Initiative Project. And it just fit.
VIP certainly lives up to their name when it comes to the village raising the child. With a large attendance rate, students often come from different schools and sometimes different cities. Because of this, VIP makes it a mission for the students to get to know each other as well as possible, especially before embarking on their spring break college tour. The trip is held every April during Bridgeport's spring break away from school. It's no secret that it's one of the most exciting things about VIP that many of the students look forward to, as they not only get to visit college campuses, but they get to do tons of fun activities meanwhile on their voyage. Teresa believes that students should be thinking of college from an early age, and to push that belief, Teresa has gone even further with her efforts by getting involved with the Lighthouse After School program, which is found in every public elementary school in Bridgeport.
We run a Lighthouse after-school program at Thomas Hooker and Columbus School. And if you bring VIP to the table, we're doing college tours. So they can put their feet on a college campus in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade so that they are at least aware that college is out here. And you don't wait till junior year of high school to get ready for college. You start early.
With an 85% college acceptance rate, it's easy to see that the students of VIP will be ready for higher education in no time. This program will continue to hold weight within the Bridgeport community as it proves that it truly does take a village to raise a child. And with a village full of support, there are great possibilities to follow afterward. This has been Danielle Wedderburn reporting for The Pulse.
The destruction of the World Trade Center on September 11th of 2001 shocked the nation, but it also created tremendous difficulties for Arab Americans. Our reporter, Mike Howard, went to Guilford, Connecticut to speak with a teacher whose Arab language class has made an impact on the school, the community, and the state.
And I'm outside of Guilford High School, a small town in Connecticut that's known for its money, beautiful houses, and school competition. Something that you might not know is this school has made history over the past 10 years in the state of Connecticut, being the first school to teach an Arabic class to its students. Now, although in the very beginning it was difficult and it wasn't even the school's first choice, but over time, the class has made an impact on today's students. I talked to the teacher who started it all.
I know that I started the program right after September 11th. What led me to go to the administration and asked them, I suggested to start another elective, and they said, what would you like to teach, Mr. Nasri? I was hired as a French teacher. I was only a French teacher. I said I would like to start an Arabic class. They were hesitant, a little apprehensive about it. Oh, Mr. Nasri, we don't know how the community would react to that. I said, okay, fine. I'm gonna start an Arabic club, and I started right after the fact. I started a club that I called Club Arabic. I introduced the Arabic piece, the alphabet. I would come dressed in my traditional dressing with the fez and all that, which I have, and I brought tea and I made tea to them in front of them and all that.
Yep.
Yes.
So you were slowly introducing your culture or your significance to them.
Exactly. That's how I started. Right. All I wanted is awareness. What I didn't understand is that anger that turned into violence. And it's violence that I'm not going to say not justified, but it was based of, so as not to use ignorance, based on lack of awareness. People were attacked just because of their attire. They were just dressed for, robes or a turban. A Sikh, he's not Arab, he's not Muslim, but he was attacked just because of the way he looked. That wave of violence that started, against people without proper knowledge, that's what led me to think twice about it and said, how can I make things better? How can I help in this situation? The following year, the 2003 to 2004, the administration approached me and they said, Mr. Nasri, would you like to teach Arabic?
Right.
I said, what? I asked you to teach Arabic. I suggested to teach Arabic. And I started Arabic that year.
So thank you both for joining me, or all three of you. Thank you. So I appreciate it. So you are a teacher. You're a French teacher.
Yes.
So when he embarked in this journey and he brought up the whole teaching Arabic in his school in Guilford, and first they said, we'll see, and he started a club, and then eventually after a year they went to him, kind of stole his idea. I mean, he can't say it, I can say it, but when that all was falling into place, what were you thinking as a teacher yourself? Did you think it was going to last this long? Did you think it was going to work, especially for the town it was in? Like, what was your first thoughts?
The talks were mostly between him and Guilford to make sure that it could go. I think Radwan is an excellent teacher, and so I thought as long as it would start up, he would have lots of students.
After 15 years of teaching Arabic, Mr. Redwan looks forward to the future of public schools embracing international languages in the classroom. For The Pulse, I'm Michael Howard from Guilford, reporting.
When we come back, we'll take an inside look at a local university's combination of history and theater.
Plus, it's springtime, and we're heading down to the Long Island Sound for a look at luxury on land and at sea. Stay with us.
To be compassionate and caring because I'm junior in a nursing major, so it's all about helping people.
I wrote down, make people the best version of themselves. Find out who we are, what we stand for, and to become very good at that and have true conviction in life, and that's it.
This campus gives everyone an opportunity to find their major, find their passion in life, and just to make a difference in the world and to prosper and use that knowledge.
Everyone can use a little more love in their life, whether we know them or not.
Welcome back to The Pulse. On March 27th, Central Connecticut State University hosted Birthed Out of Africa, a play that traces African American history from slavery to the presidency of Barack Obama. Lindsay has more on this story.
Understanding our history is important, and Mary Taylor makes it show.
Okay, before it was Birthed Out of Africa, it was From the Boat to Obama. And after From the Boat to Obama, it became From the Boat to Obama and Beyond. And then now, it has a permanent name of Birthed Out of Africa. And I wrote it in 2009.
Birthed Out of Africa tells the story of African American history that you never read about in your school textbook. The play begins with the capture and enslavement of Africans, eventually leading to the presidency of Barack Obama.
It's definitely educated me more than like school has, for the history subject of it.
What if I witnessed my husband hanging from a tree?
The play also reminds us that there is still work that needs to be done.
You know, we're not ending like we used to on a total, free at last and, like happy ending. It was like, you know what, stuff still needs to change.
Mentioning Justice for the Victims of Lynching Act, an act that would add lynching to the federal list of hate crimes.
The United States Senate approved a bill making lynching a federal crime in December 2018. Now, let's be honest. Lynching was rarely, if ever, prosecuted. So let me get this straight. All this time, up to 4 months ago, it was okay to hang a person from a tree? And people are oblivious. And there are going to still be naysayers that go, oh, it's a conspiracy, you're making it all up. No, we're not. But unless we constantly put it in people's faces, they won't know. They won't know.
My question is, why is it everybody can know their history and all their ancestors except us? So what's wrong with us reading? Afraid we would know our history and know the truth about something? That's the only explanation I have. There's something you don't want us to know. And if that's the truth, then what is it and why you don't want us to know? What kind of light is that going to shine on somebody in particular? Time will tell.
Time will tell, indeed. For the Pulse. Lindsay Grant. The Greenwich Boat Show kicks off spring with visions of summer just around the bend. Cruise down Long Island Sound with producer Michael Lotito as he takes us to the sea.
Boating season is motoring on up to the Northeast, bringing on some beautiful spring weather, as well as some great events hyping up the anticipation for the summer.
That's good.
The Greenwich Boat Show, hosted at Beacon Point Marina in Greenwich, Connecticut, kicked off on Saturday, April 6th for their annual 2-day event. I met with Karen Piscatelli, host of the event.
Well, it's a great show. It's our 11th year. It's grown. We started with 6 dealers and then it grew to 18, and this year we're up to 24 dealers. So it's definitely popular. The fact that we keep it a free show and that you actually get to sea trial the boats. And what that means is, are you looking at one boat or another? You get to test drive them both and see which one you like best.
Popular it may be, as customers returning with more temptation year after year.
We've been coming to the boat show since the first year they had it. Just the camaraderie with all the people, it's a beautiful day, which makes it even better. And just to come down and look at all the beautiful boats right here on the harbor, it's awesome.
Not only do customers continue to return, but dealers cruise back up each year to show off their new fleet.
The Greenwich Boat Show is a quality venue. Quality seeks quality. So at Bassett Boat, we have quality product, and here at Greenwich Boat Show, they have quality in their yard, their service, and their docks. And it's a nice fit. We're ready to untie the lines and show them what our beautiful Monterey's can do.
Sea trials, being one of the rarities of many Northeast boat shows, is highly prioritized here in Greenwich to ensure the best suit for every customer.
We also have it early in the season just for that reason, so that you can feel it in different weather, and you can also have the boat by summer. The value there is that you are getting to test drive the boat to know how it feels. Because unlike buying a car, you don't know what a boat is like until you're out.
And for those who believe their experience ended at the dock, in the parking lot, Manhattan Motor Cars dropped off some new toys for those who prefer both water and land vehicles.
This is one of the shows that you can say, I want it, and you get it.
From The Pulse, this has been Michael Lotito bringing you the story.
Oh man, they were rocking the boat, you know.
You know, I really wish we could fast forward right to summer. Those boats looked absolutely beautiful.
Yes, quite.
And that's all for today's show. I'm Jordan Orcus.
And I'm Lindsay Grant. We'll see you next time on The Pulse.